you are a part of that child.
Power. Black power. Black power. Black power.
Are you feeling fatigued and can barely make it through the day without some type of caffeine?
Are you on a journey of healing your body but need a little help?
Then alkaline water is what you really need.
Alkaline water has many benefits. Alkaline water can help restore pH balance in the body. Consuming beverages such as soda and coffee can make your body acidic.
Did you know that too much acid in your body has been linked to an internet, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, and other chronic conditions like gout and arthritis?
Those who use alkaline water have reported increased energy levels, clearer skin, reduction in inflammation, better digestion, and many other health benefits. I've used alkaline water for years, and it's been instrumental in sustaining my health when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Are you ready to take responsibility for your body's health?
If the answer is yes, then our alkaline water is just what you need. Bring your own bottles. It's only $3 for each gallon. To place an order or for more information, you can reach us at 77846-3091. Thank you in advance for your support.
Hi, my name is Sister Edith Stevenson. I am your announcer for today. Welcome to Culminations weekly Sunday worship service from 2 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday at 615 East 7th Street here in Chicago, Illinois, and also live on Facebook. If you would like more information, you can reach us at www.facebook.com/Culmination2 or give us a call at 773-952-8302.
Thank you in advance for
Our veins. I greet you in the ancient but holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Now I am going to recite the 13 points of what we believe and know. Number 1. We believe and know that we are not to repeat the mistakes of the past prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth. Number 2, we believe and know that we can only establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3, we believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic Holy Books were all black. Number 4, we believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a black man. Number 5, we believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7, we believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8, we believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9, we believe and know that some of the most effective methods that are being used today are AIDS, birth control, alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the black communities of America and the world. Number 10, we believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious differences, religious gangbanging. Number 11, we believe and know that the conflict between the various religions are comparable to the conflict between various street gangs within the inner cities of America. Number 12, we believe and know that the war on drugs and gangs is a diabolical plot to disarm the black community of weapons, break up the black family, withdraw our constitutional rights, also kill and incarcerate young black males under the undercover code name Able 2029. And number 13, we believe and know that every letter, shape, sound, and numerical value contains esoteric information that completely transcends the specific contextual meaning of the word. Our purpose: to bring about the growth of a righteous community in accordance with the laws of the Creator of the universe, under the leadership and guidance of Brother Minister Raheem Quasad Otten, to provide solutions to the social and economic ills that plague the communities of urban America. Our goal: to re-educate and retrain youth and young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors, because you can rebuild a community and not rebuild the minds of the residents of the community to meet the responsibilities of maintaining the community's image. Our mission: to enhance the economic development of our communities by establishing businesses, real and personal properties, thereby creating jobs and/or entrepreneurship training programs that will reverse the concept of leaving the community to buying back the community. Our motto: let your light so shine before men that they shall see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now we're going to recite our salute to the red, black, and green flag. Everyone put your right fist in the air and repeat after me. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it, this flag of mine. Here's to the black of it, 400 million's back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it, oh flag of mine. Here's to the green of it, young men and women shall dream of it, face shots and shells for it, maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it, colors bright and pole of it, pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is cultivated. Thanks to God for giving it this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem. Black power, black power, black power. Black power is the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the best interest of Black people.
You know you can, if you speak and say something.
All right.
This is the mic.
Welcome everyone to the Toma Nations weekly Sunday worship service here at 838 West Marquette Road in Chicago, Illinois. Come and be fed by God's messengers. I am your speaker for today, Sister Ebony Stevenson, and the title of my lecture today is Healing and Restoration for Black Women. For those of you who may not know, in addition to it being Mental Health Awareness Month, it is also National Women's Health Month. And so, as you know, here at Toma, anytime we're talking about something, we're focusing on Black people. And so when we're talking about National Women's Health Month, we're focusing on Black women's health. And so today I'm going to talk about several health issues that are affecting Black women. I'm going to talk about stress. I'm going to talk about healing and restoration. This is going to be a part 1 of this lecture. If you would like a part 2 of this lecture and you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can comment part 2, and then I'll do a part 2 on Wednesday. Now, before I begin, I need to do the opening because this is such a hot button topic to me. And like I said, if you would like information about this lecture or any of our previous lectures, you can always shoot us a text at 773-846-3091, or you can comment that you would like some more information, or if you want to come and join us live on Sunday in the Inglewood community of Chicago, Illinois, shoot us a text at 773-846-3091. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of maize and trees of years, known among the ancient Kemites as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansar, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims in the Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Olodumare Ashu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one, Almighty God, and it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those Black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 tribe, born here in North America, and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you in the ancient yet holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. All right, peace, peace, brothers and sisters. As I said before, this is National Women's Health Month. And so today, I'm going to talk to you about Black women's health. Now, there's so many things going on with Black women and just so many different health issues. And I'm going to give some statistics. And as we say here at Toma Nation, you guys hear all the time for our leader teacher guy, Minister Raheem Kasset-Aten. He always says, like, you don't have to listen to us. Go do your own research. Go validate what we're saying. And so the things and the statistics that I'm giving you today, go look them up yourself. They're widely available. And so this is how you can start to take control. If you are a Black woman, or you have, everyone has Black women in their family, but if you have Black women in your household, you know, you can start to take control of these things, because once you start to know things, then you can start to do things. My mom always says, if you know better, you do better, right? And so our leader teacher guy says, you got to be a scientist in the laboratory of your life. And so hopefully this information that I'm giving to you, this life-giving information, will help you to become a scientist in the laboratory of your life, in the laboratory of your body, and you can start to uncover and deal with some things that you got going on. And so before, you guys know, with everything that's going on in the world, the first thing people always talk about is Black men versus Black women. And so before I begin to talk about Black women's health, I just want to preface this. When we talk about Black women's issues, and even when you have some people talking about Black men's issues like prostate cancer, and there's all of these health issues that affect Black men as well. But we have to understand that we were never meant to be enemies. We're supposed to be a team, whether it's inside your household, whether it's inside your community, whether it's inside your school, no matter wherever you may be. And so we're supposed to protect each other, build with each other, and to help each other heal. So when we talk about these issues, we understand that it's a lot going on in our households and it's a lot going on in our communities. But I want to preface that to say, because, you know, you will get the divisive people who will be like, well, Black men ain't doing this, or Black women not doing that. But no, when we talk about healing, we need to talk about mutual healing, right? And then we need to talk about these health issues and how they affect us differently, and how we can work together to heal ourselves. So, and then lastly, you can't talk about protecting Black women without also talking about restoring Black families. But that's a lecture for another day. So now let's look at all the things that, you know, when you think about Black women. Like, we know that with the way that the government created certain programs that targeted us, that took Black men out of the household, we know that with COINTELPRO and all of these different programs that were targeting Black men from the prison industrial complex of our former president, Biden, that y'all like, oh, you should have voted for Biden, you should have voted for Biden. He created the prison industrial complex. Get your life right. Now, the thing is, and no, that doesn't mean you should vote for Trump either. They're both the same person, but just in different skins. So that's a conversation for another day. Now, when you look at all the things that Black women are expected to be, providers, nurturers, protectors, emotional support systems, spiritual backbones, for some people, emergency funds. I brought that up for a reason. And for some people, crisis managers, right? You know, when something happens, who do they call? They call your mama, they call the wife, they call the grandmother, right? And it's especially prevalent when we have so many households that there's not a male in the household. Now, we also have to understand that while Black women are shouldering these burdens, this creates us to carry a lot of chronic stress. Now, I did a lecture on stress, I think that was last month, April, if I'm not mistaken, and it talked about chronic stress. And it talked about how stress can break down your body. And so you have to look at it this way. So many Black women are dying from chronic stress. You have a lot of activists, right, who so committed to the community, so committed to making their community better, committed to the people, and then they what? They get like heart disease, like they had strokes, they had aneurysms. What is that? That's related to dying, but it's also related to stress, because stress changes your body. And this is something that you really need to look up. And we've talked about this a lot at Toma. Cortisol. When you look at when the hormone cortisol is released in your body and how it's supposed to be used for a fight or flight response, like let's say you was on the expressway and the car stand in front of you almost hit you and you grab the steering wheel. That's cortisol released in your body. That's fight or flight, right? That's stress. That's a situation. Cortisol is not meant to be flowing through your bloodstream 24/7, 24/7, 24/7 because you stressed out. Have you ever heard black women say, I'm so tired, my bones is tired? That ain't right. You're not supposed to be so tired that your bones is tired. You're not supposed to be so tired. I remember somebody said, oh, I feel like pulling out my hair. Ma'am, you're not supposed to be so tired that you want to pull out your hair. You're not supposed to be so stressed out that you got to bite your nails to calm yourself down. Our bodies are not meant to function in a state of 24-hour stress. And you really should look up cortisol because it impacts so many of your bodily functions that you don't even realize. And so going on with chronic stress, it also impacts, guess what? Guess what a lot of black women have? It impacts your blood pressure. Being stressed out all day long, your blood pressure is constantly raised, constantly raised. There's a saying sometimes in black families when kids be messing with their parents, like, don't raise my blood pressure, don't raise my blood pressure. That's not phony. That's not fake. That's real. Like, stress will raise your blood pressure. And can you imagine that you're in a household where you're stressed out all day long and your blood pressure is high all day long, all day long, all day long until you get what? High blood pressure. Until you get what? Any of these other health ailments that's related to that chronic stress, that's related to that cortisol breaking down your body. Chronic stress also affects sleep.
Back to sleep. She went back to sleep mode.
There you go. All right, brothers and sisters, sorry for the technical difficulties that we just experienced, but I am back. All right. Hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. I wasn't even getting to to the big part of my lecture. So let me get back. So I was talking about sleep, right? How chronic stress affects sleep. I know a lot of people who are taking melatonin so that they can go to sleep because they just can't go to sleep, or you know, they're in such a state of stress. They're in such a state of fight or flight that their brain can't even calm down enough so that they can have a good sleep because their brain is worried about how I'm gonna pay my rent, how I'm gonna pay my mortgage, how I'm gonna pay my bills, what I'm gonna do to my all of these things, these survival things that we know that we experience as Black people being on the economic bottom in this country. And so this is why you really have to pay attention to your stress levels, because that constant state of stress really can kill you. It affects your hormones, the constant cortisol in your body. It affects your immune function. Now imagine if you're in a constant state of stress. Imagine if you're just all day long, that cortisol is fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. And so you have to look at what happens when you get a health ailment. What happens when, let's say, you get diabetes or you get cancer or you get something that really needs your immune system to be able to be strong. But guess what? How can your immune system do what it's supposed to do and kick out diseases, right? How can your immune system do that when guess what? Well, your body is flooded with cortisol, and cortisol can break down your immune system. These things go hand in hand, and we really have to pay attention to these things. Stress can affect your digestion. We know a lot of people who have digestive issues, getting irritable bowel syndrome and all of these other things that we didn't used to get. And so that's related to stress, and it's also related to diet, because those two go hand in hand. And then mental health. We've been talking about mental health. Our leader teacher guy, Minister Raheem Kassadata, just did a lecture called Back to Nature last week when he talked about schizophrenia and the rise of schizophrenia diagnosis among Black people. That we are, I forgot what the statistic was, but that we're being diagnosed more than non-Blacks are for schizophrenia. And it's like, it's disproportionately affecting Black people. It's a reason for that. And so, lastly, heart disease risk. We know it's a lot of people having heart attacks, especially Black women. And when you look at the, I forgot what the statistic actually is, but when they do women's heart healthy month, and when everybody be wearing red, like a lot of Black women die from heart attacks. But you know what heart attacks are also related to, and what heart disease is also related to, not just your diet, but stress. Absorb that. Think about yourself. Think about the Black women you know in your household. Think about how they're handling stress. Think about how you're handling stress. And so this is when we say that we're giving life-giving prescriptions. This is for you to be exposed to this, and then you can go and do your own research. Like, let's say, for example, if you're dealing with some issues, and let's say you need to go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a prescription, and then you may want to research the more naturopathic route. We talk about all that here at Toma. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can always reach out to us at 773-846-3091. And so now, when we talk about chronic stress, we connect that with survival mode. And I just mentioned that because economic issues are one of the biggest issues of chronic stress for us as a community, right? Because we're on the economic bottom. We're always worried about how we're going to survive. Like I said, how are we going to pay our bills? How are we going to keep the lights on? How are we going to put gas in the car? How are we going to get the kids to school? How are we going to feed these babies? How are we going to feed these grandbabies? This is all economic related stress, and it's related to us being on the economic bottom in this country, and we have to acknowledge it. And then you'll get people and they'll say, well, we've been on the economic bottom for a long time. We always had this stress. Like we, you know, and I'm not speaking ill of our elders. I'm just saying this is sometimes the things that they say, well, you know, we raise kids with a bag of flour and, and some other things. And you just have to understand that we are living in a different time. We are under a different vibration. The things that you used to did back then is not the same thing that's going on right now. And we got to stop comparing each other. We got to stop, because that's another level of stress. We got to stop saying, well, oh, I raised 20 kids and I'm still here and I'm still kicking and I don't have high blood pressure and I don't have this. Ma'am, you was under some stress. You talking about you raised 20 kids. I'm just saying, this is what, people like, I raised 10 kids, I raised 15 kids, I raised 7 kids. You only got 2. What's your problem? We have to understand that that's also stressing when you belittle someone's personal experience. And that is a problem for Black households when we're talking to Black women and when Black women are trying to talk about the issues that they are experiencing and we belittle them or relate to someone else's experiences. We have to understand that God made each of us differently. We're all different people. We're not a monolith. We've all had different experiences. We all live different lives. And so you cannot compare and contrast how you handle something versus how the next person can. Because something that didn't break you can break somebody else. And it is because we're seeing it every day. You got Black women who are losing their minds out here all across America. I'm not going to mention the other parts of the world, but in America, they are here losing their minds, killing their kids, committing suicide, and doing all of these things that's related to what? Women go through things so much so when that stress reaches a boiling point. Everybody has a tipping point. And if that issue is not addressed, what happens? You're going to what? Explode like a volcano. And some women don't come back from that. And we want to stop that. We want to prevent that. And so you really have to look at, like when I'm talking about women, I'm also talking about yourself. I'm talking about myself. Think about what's draining you emotionally. Think about what's draining you financially. Think about what's draining you spiritually. Think about what's draining you mentally. And I mentioned this in the lecture last year. For some of you, and this is real talk. Look at me. This is real talk. Some of you, that might be the people in your household. That might be the person you sleep next to every night that is slowly putting the nails in your coffin because they stressing you out. You wake up, you stress, you go to sleep, you stress. You got to deal with that. It might be your bills. It might be your children. It might be your friend. We go through so many things as Black women and deal with this stress, and we're supposed to carry this superhero cape, right? And we got this cape on like, ooh, we was born Black women. We awesome. Yeah, we're awesome and we're dope, and God made us that way. But we're not here to run around with a superhero cape on like when somebody called and it's a fire over here and it's a fire over here. We like, ooh, Black women to the rescue.
Say that.
You can't do that all the time. You can't save nobody if you can't save yourself. How you supposed to save somebody? How you supposed to put out a fire in somebody's house and your own house on fire? And that's real. That is very real. And so many of us have been through this, but it's so many times where we don't have safe spaces to talk about this, to release these things. Because a lot of Black women are out here walking around with trauma. We got trauma related to poverty. We got trauma related to relationships. We got trauma related to our jobs. We all have trauma in the Black community. But when you're looking at how so many Black women are operating as these heads of household and responsible for so many people, they're responsible whether or not someone goes to school. You know, some people are raising not just their own children, but their grandchildren as well. That's a heavy burden. And so you really have to look at how are you going to start to decrease this stress? And I say this is because when I'm saying these words, I'm thinking of the Black women in my life that I know that are going through these things right now. And even so much so that for some of you who may not know, but you should have seen it on our social media, you know, even here at Toma Nation, we started a women's circle, which the first meeting is today at 3:30 here at 838 West Marquette, to have a space where we can come and talk about these issues and stress and all of these things that are going on in our lives and how we can link that up with spirituality so that we can start to access some healing and restoration. We all need healing and restoration. If you on planet Earth right now, you need some healing and some restoration. Because I don't know what it is I don't know if it's related to, slavery or, post Reconstruction or civil rights, like this thing where we all got to be Energizer bunnies until the battery run out. We got to be an Energizer bunny until our hearts give out. We got to be an Energizer bunny until the cancer takes us out. We got to be an Energizer bunny until we get the fingers and the feet and then the legs cut off and then we perish from diabetes. That's not right. We shouldn't have to go through that. We were not made to live a life of disease. We were not made to live a life of chronic stress. God didn't make us for that. And you have to understand that it's okay. I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were talking about saying no. It's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay to say no. Sometimes when people be calling me, I be like, you dying? No. Okay, I'll get back to you. And that's for real. I'm like, I'm saying this, I'm not being funny and I'm not being facetious, but this is very important. Because how many black women do you know that people call their phone 24/7? All day long, all day long. It's something. They need some bus fare to get here. They need an Uber to get here. They need some money for food to tide them over until they get paid. Their kids need this or all of these things. And then you got the superhero running around. Oh, let me do this over here. Let me do this for my kids. Let me do this for my grandchildren. Let me do this for my mama. Let me do this for the community. Let me do this for church. It's okay to say no sometimes. It's okay sometimes to take a moment to yourself. It's okay to want peace. It is okay for you to want some space. And it is okay for you to stop being a beast of burden and carrying everybody else while your own body collapses. How many of you who know women like this? Some of you who got women in your household. Some of you who got women who made their transition. And at their funeral, everybody was talking about Big Mama used to do this, and Big Mama used to do that. She used to do it. Anytime I needed something, I can go to Big Mama. All of these things. And then she done had a heart attack because y'all done stressed her the heck out and her body done failed her. And then now what? Now everybody crying at the funeral because she was the help for everybody else. But where was her help? I hope you're listening to what I'm saying. Because think about this. God didn't create black women to suffer endlessly, to be stressed out all day. Because you have to look at healing is holy. Rest is holy. Peace is holy. There's nothing wrong with saying, man, I just want some peace today. Man, I'm going to turn off my phone today. There's nothing wrong with that. That don't make you selfish. It don't make you a bad person. It makes you human. Think about all the things in this country that we go through. We have carried children. We have carried communities. Look how many black activists have been in different things in Chicago. Look how many of the black activists around the school system are women. How many of the black activists around trying to protect public housing and to save Section 8 housing? How many of those were women? How many of the black activists around fighting against the police are women? Carrying babies, carrying communities, carrying households. We carry churches and religious institutions. Almost all of that. And we still carrying trauma. We still carrying grief. How many of black women are walking around here with grief? It's so many black women in our city right now who have lost children. And they're walking around here with so much grief that they can't even function. And this is real. And it's not just black women here in Chicago. This is black women all across the country who've lost children, who've lost a spouse, who've lost parents. We don't talk enough about why it's important for us to be able to process grief and why that's a process. And understanding that it's not nothing that happens overnight. But if you don't deal with it, it's like what? What do they say about the 500-pound gorilla or the gorilla in the room? That's a 500-pound gorilla on your back every day, all day, until you start to deal with it. Because guess what? When you're stressed out about it, what happens? That's also breaking down your body. And you got one body. And so, and trust and believe, when I'm saying this, I'm also speaking to myself. God gave us this one body, and it's got to last you your whole life. Now, see, I've heard of kidney replacement, kidney transplants, heart transplants, even somebody did a brain transplant and a skin transplant. I've never heard of a body transplant. Whew. I didn't realize it was already 1 o'clock. I'm gonna go for about 2 more minutes. Sorry, I didn't get to my section 1. That was still all my introduction. Like I said, if you are enjoying this lecture and you would like a part 2 and you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please comment part 2, or you can shoot us a text at 773-846-3091. Now, let's talk about the state of Black women's health. First, what is something that that you can choose to do, right? That women can choose to do, and that some women can go through the process and they're perfectly fine, and then some women can go through the process and it kills them. Giving birth to children. Black women have one of the highest mortality rates of any other woman when it comes to childbirth. And that is very important to address. It's called maternal mortality. Something that you would think that like, oh, like as a woman, and like you choose to have children or you choose not to have children, right? That's your choice. But you choose to have children and you're thinking about starting a family, you're thinking about all of these things related to families, and you go through the process, and then the mother doesn't make it. The child doesn't make it. Why is this so important? It's because this is by design. We have to understand that we're living in a country where more Black women are dying from having children than anybody else. That's not an accident. That is by design. That is on purpose. Now, would you guess that the mortality rate for Black women giving birth is 3 times that of white women? Why is it that white women can have babies smoothly? They can have their baby, they can be overjoyed, they can leave the hospital, they can do what they do after they leave the hospital, bring the baby home, show the baby to the family. And so many of us as Black women don't get to do that. There have been viral stories about Black women dying from childbirth that is young Black women, middle-aged Black women. It doesn't matter the age. And the thing it's a couple of factors that relate to that. They're not listened to when they're giving birth, when they're feeling that something is wrong and the doctor is not listening to them. I remember there was a sister who she was having like a labor pains, and she was going to the doctor, and they kept telling her it was okay. And all along she had preeclampsia and she died, and I believe her baby died. She's not the only one. Black women are going to you pregnant and you going to the doctor, and the doctor's supposed to be able to help you. Going to the doctor and saying, hey, I'm in pain. Even before it's time to deliver the baby, I'm in pain. Doctor's not listening. Because there was somebody who talked about this, and they were saying in medical school, when the doctors are going through treatment about pain, that there's this misconception that Black people have a high pain tolerance than other races. That Black women have a higher pain tolerance than non-Black women. And so we can deal with the pain. This isn't a myth. This is what they're showing us. And the crazy thing is that it don't matter if you're a poor Black woman or if you're a rich Black woman. It don't matter. Or who's that Serena Williams? When she was at the doctor and she had some pain and they was telling her, to go home or to go home. And she kept advocating for herself, and I forgot what the issue was, but she had an issue that could have killed her baby if she wouldn't have advocated for herself. She's not the only wealthy black woman that has had that issue. And so it don't matter if you got money or if you don't got money. That the same thing is, man, can you imagine that you think you done made it and you got all this money, and you go to the doctor and the doctor still don't listen to you because of the color of your skin? That makes you get delayed treatment. And for some black women, it gives you inadequate postpartum support. This is what we talk about mental health. There are a lot of women who experience postpartum depression. And in the black community, sometimes that gets overlooked. And if it's not addressed, it can relate to other problems with the mother's connection to the child if that postpartum depression is not dealt with. But what happens? They trying to tell their doctor, oh, everything cool, until something happens. And then it's blame the mother when the mother was reaching out for help. We got to look at these things, because the things that I'm talking about, these are not just medical issues. This is a justice issue. And it's a justice issue with how America treats black women. Now, I know I said I was going to go that 10 minutes, so I have a lot more to say, but I'm going to end the lecture here, because like I said, if you want a part 2 of this lecture, comment part 2. There's so much related to this topic, you guys, that like you really, from everything from obesity to autoimmune diseases, like hair loss, skin rashes, like there's so many things that's related to stress and women's health that we really don't understand. And so I'm gonna close us out with this. This is a scripture. It is 3 John chapter 1, verse 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. Oftentimes we're taught that spirituality is disconnected from physical wellness. But that's not true. If you truly want to heal your body, you need to elevate your spirituality. You got to elevate your connection with the Creator. It doesn't matter if you call the Creator God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever. You got to elevate that divine connection that you have with the Creator if you truly want to heal yourself. And so I hope that this life-giving teaching was helpful to you. I hope that you really got something from this. Like I said, I'm your lecturer, Sister Ebony Stevenson. If you would like more information about this topic or any of our previous lectures, you can always reach out to us at 773-846-3091. And also, don't forget, I did mention that we have a women's circle here at Determination. We also have a men's circle. So if you feel like you or anybody in your household would benefit from joining a women's circle or being a part of a men's circle, always feel free to reach out to us here at Determination at 773-846-3091. Thank you so much. Welcome to close this. Close it up. I can't. The thing froze and I can't find it.
Ticket stop.